That's the Jewish way. So let me give you a little bit of announcement before we start. Tonight we are dedicating this evening Zecher Nishmas Meita Bas Avraham Yitzchok, and it's a yahrzeit tonight. And Larry, you should have Ezrat Hashem, a big aliyah for your mother. Okay? It's good to see you. And now we are going to start. And tonight we are going to study an amazing parsha. I always tell you that, but it's always true. Because tonight we are going to discover how the Torah was given. If you're going to get to understand that, then you could have the Torah in your hands every single day. So in Parshas Yisro, and this is the parsha of the Ten Commandments. And I'll tell you exactly which page if you want to follow me. And that's page 400, yes. Vayishma Yisro, and Yisro heard. Just 1 second, I took the wrong page, forgive me. Okay. 1 second. Just 1 second. Be patient, because my hand missed the parsha. I turned to the wrong page. Yes, okay. Actually, it's 394. Vayishma Yisro, and Yisro heard Kohen Midian was the priest of Midian, Chote Moshe, the father-in-law of Moses, as Kol Asher also Elohim LeMoshe, everything that God did for Moshe and the Jewish people as they came forth from Egypt. So this is amazing. This is the parsha, this is the portion when we study about the giving of the Torah, the Ten Commandments, the most significant event in all of humanity, forever and ever. This changed the story of all mankind. Every religion, every faith comes from the fact that we are the ones who discovered God for all of humanity. If not for us, the world would still be pagan. The world would continue to worship idols and to live by the laws of the jungle. We came forth and we proclaimed there's a God in this world. There is prayer, there is justice, there is compassion, there is truth. Live by it. So this is the parsha that reveals the Torah and reveals Hashem, the Almighty God, to all of humanity. So what do you think they should call this parsha? Moshe? He's the one who gave us the Torah, right? It's not called Moshe. It should be called Har Sinai. Torah was given on Mount Sinai. You know what the parsha is called? Yisro, Jethro. Why? He was a heathen priest. A heathen priest. Yes, father-in-law of Moses, but a heathen priest? Vayishma Yisro, and Yisro heard. That's the key. In order to make a difference in your life, you have to know how to listen, how to get your messages. Hashem sends messages every single day. A bat call is written, a voice comes forth from heaven, giving each person a message. Nothing is taken randomly. You're walking on the street and you bump into somebody. You see a sign. You see something. It's a message. You have to know how to listen. This is a generation that doesn't know how to listen. When King David died, King Solomon, his son, who was a little boy, 12 years old, had to accept leadership. He was to be now the new king of Israel. Can you imagine a boy of 12 sitting on the throne of David, his father? Is that new? I mean, it's awesome. It's daunting, no? It's frightening. And what do you do? And Shlomo, King Solomon, was smart enough to understand that, oh my God, what am I going to do? I'm not worthy. In order to understand what an awesome challenge this is. You have to be wise. So he had the wisdom to understand that he's totally incapable. And he was frightened. So God appeared to him in a dream, and God says to him, Solomon, my son, Beni, Shlomo, my son Solomon, make a wish, and I'll make it happen. I give you a wish. You are 12 years old. You are just asked to become the king of Israel or the queen of Israel. What would you wish for? What would you wish for? A great empire? A great army? Popularity? Wealth? Power? Wisdom? What would you wish for? Do you know what Solomon wished for? Oh God, give me Lev Shomea, a listening heart. A listening heart? You have to listen with your ears, not with your heart. A listening heart? What does that mean? God sends messages. We say a bracha every day. Hameche mitzadei go, where God arranges our footsteps. But we don't hear the messages. We just go along like zombies. We don't get it. So you have to have a listening heart. But can't you listen with your mind? No. There's a saying, a teaching, a prayer that we say every morning in our Olenu when we conclude our prayers. V'yodato hayam, shall know in your heart. I'm sorry, you shall know today. V'ashevoselo vecho, you shall know it in your heart. I repeat, v'yodato hayam, you shall know it today. V'ashevoselo vecho, and shall place it into your heart. What does that mean? I know in my mind. I have to place it in my heart. What does that mean? Yes, you have to listen with your heart. Let me explain to you. Logically, intellectually, you know you shouldn't be smoking. It's hazardous. It's a killer. You understand it. You understand it. But in your heart, you cannot absorb it. So you puff away. I shouldn't be doing this. I shouldn't be doing this. But you are puffing. Remember when my husband, of blessed memory, was ill at NYU. That was the first hospital. Then we went to Sloan. But at NYU, if you ever visit there, there is like a little garden off the lobby. I would go in, winter, freezing weather. I see these people in the garden, puffing away. And some of them are wearing white jackets. Physicians, nurses. Would you believe that? Surely they know. Yudato hayam, you shall know it in your mind. Vashivosel vecho, shall place it in your heart. Because if you don't get it in your heart, in vain do you know it in your mind. Just a few inches from your mind to your heart. But those few inches are a great gap, and it's almost impossible to close them. It's like closing the most intricate deal. You can't do it. You cannot do it. And even small things, not large things, small things. You become addicted, you can't change. You become addicted, you can't change. That's why Adam, when he admitted that he sinned, and God confronted him, you know what Adam answered? And I am sinning, meaning I am eating. I'm eating now in the present tense. Chutzpah. To say to God, I'm still eating? Isn't that chutzpah? What did you do? I'm still doing it. Terrible chutzpah, no? But no, it's to be pitied. God, I became addicted. Take my hand. Help me. I cannot extricate myself. I shouldn't be angry. I shouldn't scream. I shouldn't yell. But somebody pushed my buttons and I lost it. True or not? I shouldn't be doing this, but I am. The gap between the mind and the heart, just a few inches. impossible to close unless you say to God, take my hand. Help me. I cannot do it alone. So Vayishma Yisro heard. And that's why this Pasha is named after him. He became the greatest person in the annals of mankind because he is for all eternity inscribed in the Torah, in the Pasha, in which God gives the Torah. Isn't that amazing? He's a heathen prophet. What did he hear? What did he hear? He heard about the great miracles that God made for the Jewish people. Everybody else heard it. And then he heard something incredible that made him stand up and say, I am going into the desert to join the Jewish people. What did he hear? He heard that Amalek attacked the Jewish people. He didn't react when he heard about the 10 Commandments. The 10 plagues. He didn't react when Egypt became ground zero. He reacts now because Amalek, a horrible, vicious nation, came to attack the Jewish people in the desert. For that he reacts. And he says, I have to go. I can't wait. What does it mean? Listen carefully. Jethro was an amazing man. He was all goodness. When he was in the palace of Pharaoh, he was part of the cabinet. He fought Pharaoh for the Jewish people and he had to escape for his life. He became very, very popular eventually in Midian. He became the priest of Midian. He was a man who was interested in truth. He examined every religion, every pagan god. He examined them, studied them. Which one should I worship? Which one represents truth? He examined all of them. He was not satisfied. But on the other hand, he did not know any other god. So he's still examining. Now when he heard about the 10 plagues, I heard that Egypt became ground zero. Well, could happen to a nation. Doesn't mean that this God is God all over the universe. But then he heard that there is a nation called Amalek. And by the way, Hitler and all anti-Semites are descendants of Amalek. Haman was a descendant of Amalek. All anti-Semites are descendants of Amalek. Naked hatred. Amalek was a nation that we had absolutely no confrontation with. We never had anything to do with him. We never trespassed his land. We never invaded his land. We never asked him for a penny. Nothing. We're traveling quietly in the desert on our way to Sinai. From nowhere he attacks. Why is he attacking? Because we are Jews and we are going to Sinai. So that's when Jethro realized that in vain does God make miracles. People don't accept truth. Here is Amalek. Look at the miracles that occurred in Egypt. Look at the miracles of the Red Sea splitting. He doesn't get it. So I said, I have to join that nation right away because I want my descendants to know truth. So he came to Mount Sinai. And in his honor, because he took that step, the entire portion of giving of the Torah is dedicated. Is that amazing? A heathen who converted. Now he's coming to Mount Sinai. He's a convert. He's not yet a convert. He comes as the priest of Midian. He's coming to examine, final examination. And he's called the only time, right now, the last time that is, priest of Midian. Because once a non-Jew converts, you are not permitted ever to remind that non-Jew that he is just a convert. Because he, that non-Jew, she, that non-Jew, are honored members of the Jewish people. Because on their own they chose to say, Hineni, here I am to serve my God. On their own. They need all the prestige they require, and they deserve all the prestige. So if the non-Jew who converted wants to tell a story, I was not a Jew once, I converted, that's great. That's his or her option. But you're not allowed to say, you know who you were years ago? Who are you to tell me this? Who was your mother? Who was your father? That's the biggest sin. You follow? So Jethro now comes. This is the last time in the Torah that he's called the priest of Midian, because very soon he's going to convert. And he's coming now to the desert. Now, why do we have to know that he's the priest of Midian? Come with me to the next passage. Moses, it's told that Jethro, his father-in-law, arrived. And would like you to go now to sentence 5. Vayovo Yisro and Jethro came, Chutze Moshe, the father-in-law of Moses, Uvonov and his sons, Ishto and his wife, and Moshe to Moses, into the desert. And let's go to one more sentence. Sentence 7. Vayitze Moshe, and Moses went forth, Likvas Chasna, in honor of his father-in-law, went out to greet him. Vayishtachu, and they bowed down to each other. Vayishaklo, and they kissed each other. Vayishalu ish lavehu, and they asked one of another, L'shalom, if it's peace with them, Vayovu or holo, and they came to the tent. Now what on earth is the Torah telling us? That he went out to greet him, then I understand. That's an amazing thing. He's a heathen prophet. Moses is the king of the Jewish people. So another king would be told, your father-in-law, a heathen, arrived. At the most they would say, oh, bring him in. He's the king. No, he goes out to greet him. And who goes with him? If he goes, all the elders, all the leaders, all the elders, all the princes of the tribes follow him. Aaron, everybody follows him. And he asks him, is it peaceful by you? How you doing? The Torah has to write that down. I meet you on the street. How you doing? It's a normal thing to do, no? Is that normal or not? How you doing? Torah has to record that. I'm asking you how you doing. After the class, I'll say, how are you? Don't I say that to you? How have you been? Do I know you? Whatever. Correct or not? I greet you. So what does it mean? He wants to know in which situation his father-in-law is. Because if somebody wants to convert, and the Jewish people are at their zenith, then we suspect him. Are you trying to convert? Because it's so good for the Jews now. They're all billionaires. They all have status. You are a Jew, you are the leader of the world. Or do you want to convert because you believe in God and you love the Torah? That's the question. You cannot convert because you want to marry Miriam or Michael. Doesn't work. You cannot convert because you want to please your mother-in-law, the Jewish mother-in-law. You cannot do that. There's only one conversion that's acceptable in front of God. I want to worship you, Almighty God. I want to worship you, Almighty God. Do you understand this? So he asks him, is it good with you? What sort of a situation are you in? Are you powerful? Are you successful? Or did you come over here because they got rid of you? Tell me what's going on in your life. Do you need a job? That's why you are coming? Do you need food? That's why you are coming? Or you are coming because you want to join the nation that is going to Sinai? Which is it? So he tells him, I'm very powerful. I'm the priest of Midian, which means that he's like a king. A very powerful country in those days, Midian. But he left it all behind to come here into the desert. Into the desert. Why is God leading the Jewish people in a desert? Why? Why do we have to? And the desert in those days was not like today. Wild animals, scorpions, heat. Constant heat. No place to get a cold drink. Do you understand this? So what's going on here? What is happening? Jethro took upon himself to make the journey to join the people of God, no matter what, going to a desert. But why is God taking, as I said before, the nation into the desert? You know why? What's a desert? No diversions. Look up at the sky and you see God. No diversions, no shopping, no TV. Every generation has its own TV, its own shopping, its own diversions. No diversions in the desert. If you want to find God, go into a desert. Do you have a desert today to go into? You must be kidding. Of course not. Where do you want to go? Las Vegas. Where do you want to go? What desert? Phoenix? Want to go to Phoenix? Where do you go? We took care of every city, every state, every community where there is a desert, and we modernized it, and we made business. Maybe there is oil, we're digging for this, digging for that, whatever. Coca-Cola is everywhere today, and you know that. But in those days you entered the desert. That's why all our prophets, including Moses, including Amos, every one of them, they were all shepherds. That's what they prepared for their leadership. To bring God to the Jewish people and to the world. A desert. So where do you go today? You know where you go? Come to Hineni. Come to a Torah class. Come to a Torah class and open your heart and open your mind and listen with your heart. Listen with your heart. Don't travel on a journey with your mind while your heart is listening. Make a beautiful synthesis. Connect the mind with the heart. Close the gap from the mind to the heart and go forth transformed. I was in the desert. I heard the voice of God. That's the only way to go. So now Moshe Rabbeinu says to his father-in-law, tell me about your life. What is your situation? And he tells him that he's the priest of Midian and he's doing great. He's not coming because he's looking to join a nation to get money. That's not his intent. His intent is only to join the people of God. And I don't know if you know this, but all his descendants became leaders of the Jewish people, members of the Sanhedrin, the greatest body of law for the Jewish people in Jerusalem. Would you believe it? And his descendants became great in Israel, and the city of Jericho was theirs, where the words of the temple were heard. The greatest Torah scholars from Jethro, the convert. Do you understand this? Because he came for the right reason. Because at the end of the day, the first convert, you know who the first convert was? Our father Abraham. He was raised in a pagan world. His father was an idol worshipper, and he discovered God and transmitted this legacy to all his descendants. So we are a nation of converts who discovered God. And in a moment we were transformed, we came to Sinai. And it says he took him into the tent tent in the holy tongue is a code word for Torah. He took him into the tent, Torah, and he made a fabulous feast. Moses made it, because now they are celebrating. He's joining the Jewish people. Being circumcised, they had a big seudah. They had a big celebration for him. And do you know who the waiter was at the celebration? Do you know who served? You know who served? Moses himself. Moshe Rabbeinu, the waiter? How do you understand that? How do you understand that? We have a commandment which is Hachnosas Auchim, welcoming guests. And the way you welcome your guests is that the host himself serves. Doesn't mean that others cannot serve. They serve with him, but the host makes an effort to serve. My Holy Father, the great sage, always joined my mother in serving. My husband, the great sage, always joined me in serving. Can I give you this? Can I give you that? Can I offer you this? Can I offer you that? I remember years ago, my Holy Father brought home a man who was a former wrestler, a Jew, about the only Jewish wrestler. And he had one punch too many. And he lost it. He, poor guy, was sitting on the street, mumbling to himself. And children would come and throw garbage his way. It was very sad. My father picked him up and brought him home. Forgive me, but he had a terrible stench. I don't know when he took a shower. He was homeless. And he would go to the bathroom and forgive me. He would not leave it clean. And my Holy Father would clean it up so my mommy shouldn't have aggravation. And then my father would serve him and would scream, "Rebbe, more coffee!" And you know what? I would want to scream. I couldn't handle it. So I said to my father, "Tati, why?" And my father said, "It was good enough for Moshe Rabbeinu. He's a child of God. He doesn't belong on the street." My father taught him how to read Hebrew. He was part of the minyan. Every morning he came to join the minyan, and every afternoon and every night, and suddenly he stood up straight. He stood tall. He was standing tall. He was no longer garbage on the street. It starts with serving somebody. Can I help you? Can I offer you this? Can I give you this? And do you know who becomes greater with that experience? The one who serves. The one who gives. The one who gives. So Jethro joins the Jewish people. And what does Jethro do? I'm not going to go into detail from the text, but the first thing he does is what all good fathers-in-law do. He criticizes. He tells Moses he's not running the business right. What do we mean by that? He says, "My son, you are going to exhaust yourself. You'll be expiring. You cannot. You cannot do all this work by yourself, judge all the people. Day and night, Moses had no sleep at all. Yes, he was like an angel of God, but something? Day and night, serving the people. They came with all their fights and their arguments and questions, and he had patience for everyone. Cannot be. You need help. You have to delegate responsibility. This one has to do this, that one has to do that. And you should only take the big cases that no one else can resolve. You have other judges. Let the elders do it. And so on. And so it was that God told Moses, "Your father-in-law is right." So why didn't God couldn't have told him this before? Why did Jethro have to come to tell him? To teach you that no man is so perfect that he does not need input from others. God waited for Jethro to come should never disregard any person. Who is he to tell me, Moses? Do you understand this? Who is he to tell me? Who are you to tell me what I should do? What do you know? You're a convert. What do you know? Do you understand the greatness? Do you appreciate? And now we are going to come to the greatest moment in all of mankind, the giving of the Torah. And if you're going to absorb this properly, then you will be standing at Sinai every single day. So listen carefully. I'm skipping just a little bit. So we go to page 400, and I'm on sentence 1, okay? B'chodesh hashlishi, in the 3rd month, it says B'nai Yisrael, as the Jewish people left Egypt, Bayom Hazeh, on this day, they came midbar Sinai, the desert of Sinai. Amazing. Every holiday has a date. The giving of the Torah has no date. Why? Furthermore, it's written, by Chodesh Hazeh, on this day, by Yom Hazeh, on this day, by Yom Hazeh, I repeat, on this day, by Chodesh Hashishi, on the 3rd month. How do you understand that? No date. By Yom Hazeh, on this day, should have said, not by Yom Hazeh, it's not this day, but on that day that passed. Correct? Didn't come on this day, but they came on this day, so that every Jew, every morning you get up, today, God is giving me the Torah. You jump out of bed, get up and serve your Creator. Today God gave you the Torah. Get ready. Get yourself ready. What an amazing day today. God is giving me the Torah. I could renew myself, recreate myself, reinvent myself. God gave me the Torah today, is giving it to me today. Let me get dressed beautifully. I'm going to have Sinai, to Mount Sinai. When? Today. You messed up yesterday? Well, that was before God gave you a Torah. Today He's giving it to you again. Okay? It all starts all over again. It's an amazing gift God gave us. Every morning is a new day. How's that? This day. Not that day. This day. Today. No date is given, so no one should ever say, well, that was in ancient times, that was thousands of years ago. Today it's different, Today we have cell phones, we have texting. You must be kidding. We became bigger morons than our fathers ever were. We can't even talk. We can't even talk. We can't even write. We can't even communicate. We make a phone call. You got a computer. No one talks to you. No human voices. We create a sick society. A sick society. With all our technology. You have no privacy. Go on Google and you could Google everybody's life. Go on that stupid Facebook. And every person wants to be a star and they put themselves on. Do you understand this? What propels people to be so foolish as to put themselves on TV that way? On TV. Because that's like putting yourself on TV day and night. Except worse. Facebook and all the other Facebooks and all those programs. Everybody should be able to see your private life or your make-believe life. For who? For what? Are you sick in your head? Why are you doing this? I mean, don't you have any self-respect? some self-esteem? Do you want to do this? Shouldn't you have some privacy that you protect? Shouldn't have some dignity? And you put out these outrageous photographs of yourself on Facebook. Look at those photographs that people put out. Outrageous. For what? For who? Because you want to be a star. You're in Hollywood. You're on TV. So we came to Sinai, but we didn't come. We are coming today. Was not in the past. Today God gives you the Torah. But Yom Hazeh, this day. Everything is critical. B'midbar Sinai, God gives it to you in the desert of Sinai. Desert, I explained before what it means. Sinai? Why Sinai? Do you know that Sinai was a little hill? You would think it's a big mountain. No. Why didn't God give the Torah on Mount Everest? Wouldn't that be more appropriate? How about in Jerusalem on the Temple Mount? Why not Jerusalem on the Temple Mount? Would you believe that? Would you believe that on the Temple Mount? Why not? Mount Sinai in the desert, a little hill. What is the teaching? The first teaching you have to absorb if you would like to have Torah in your heart. Remove ego. Has to be a little mountain. A little mountain. There's a teaching that if you want to know God, it's not like saying God is everywhere, no. Little boy was asked by the Rebbe, where is God? And says, oh, that's easy, God is everywhere. No, my little boy, God is not everywhere. You cannot discover him that way. God is only in the heart that makes room for him to enter. If you are full of yourself, there is no room for God. I know better. I'll make the judgment call. And you make from the Torah a supermarket. This I'll buy? No, this I don't want. That's one thing to say to God, God, forgive me. Please be patient with me. I am not at Sinai quite yet. But I would love to be at Sinai. It's just that I don't have the stamina. So please help me. I don't have the discipline. I became a victim of the virus of the 21st century. It's a virus. And there's no medication for it outside of the Torah, and I'm not familiar with the Torah, so teach me how to take that medication. I don't reject, God forbid that I should even question the truth of the Torah. Next week, I'm speaking in the American Air Force. Please God. I have spoken for the Army, for the Navy. Now I'm speaking for the Air Force. When I was in the Army and in the Navy, I noticed one thing amazing. I'm walking with the commanding officers, with the generals. A soldier comes along. Sir! And on one occasion, I'm walking with this officer, two officers. One a female, one a male. The female is on one side, the male on the other side of me. And the soldier comes along, he says, sir. He says, the commanding officer says, turn around, spin around, spin around. Has a spin around. And he's on crutches because this was in the Navy. And they were training. And he broke his leg. Training. Swing around and spin around and spin around. Until finally he got it. Ma'am. She was of a higher rank. So I had to greet her first. So when they left, the officer said to me, you might think that I was a little bit too hard on him. But you know why? You have to understand. These are the eyes of America. They have to know how to watch everything. They have to be constantly vigilant. They cannot make a mistake. The eyes of America. God called upon us at Sinai to become the eyes of the world. We descended to Egypt 70 strong. And what 70 is in Hebrew? Ayin, eyes. Because we are the ones who have to be the eyes of the world to bring the wisdom of the Torah to all of mankind. They should have eyes, they should see. God has 70 different names. You have to understand God from his different attributes, like different phone numbers, and every number represents something else. The God of justice, the God of compassion, and so on. 70 different names. There's 70 nations in the world, and we have to be the eyes of those 70 nations. 70 pillars in Jerusalem in the temple. Everything is 70 eyes. So when you are in the army, in the navy, you would never question your commanding officer, why should I do this, why should I do that? Could you? Be court-martialed. The officer says, do this. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Do you have a choice? Tell me why I should do that. Explain it to me. Can you see that? Doing that to your commanding officer? In a minute, you're gone. Dismissed. Dismissed. And you have the chutzpah, and I should have the chutzpah to say to Hashem, give me a reason. Give me a reason. And the stupidity of it all, when you think about it, Rebbetzin, if you could give me a good reason why I should keep kosher, I'll keep kosher. And I look at the person, I can't believe you. I should give you a reason, and my reason is better than the fact that God says, this is it. My reasoning is more appealing to you than the command of God. I should give a reason. God commanded. If you cannot do it, apologize and beg for forgiveness. And tell God to teach you. And to be patient with you. But I should give you a reason? God commanded, isn't that enough? So now we continue. They came to Sinai. If you want to believe in God, first condition, go to Sinai, a little mountain. Humility. Humility. And just in parentheses, I'll say to you, Sinai, the word Sinai is related to the Hebrew word Sinai, which means hatred. The moment God gave us the Torah, the nations of the world also start to hate us. Jealousy. Jealousy. And to this day, the hatred is there. But would God allow something negative to happen to his children? God forbid. He gave us the Torah at Sinai, and it's sin or it's also hatred. There's a reason for it. A Jew assimilates. He is white. He doesn't have color. He's not Oriental. It's very easy to just become part of the world, to be absorbed, to melt into the melting pot. And you are now a citizen of the world. A citizen of the world. You don't believe, not one of those Jews. And even if you live in Israel, so I live in Israel, but, I'm a citizen of the world, and I'm just as happy to live in the USA, if not happier. I don't believe in God. I don't do those things. Do you know how many Israelis I had to teach how to make a bracha? They know Hebrew. So what does that mean? Arabs also speak Hebrew. Anybody can. The Pope could speak Hebrew. So what? So what? Does that make the Pope Jewish? So what? Doesn't mean anything. So you have to understand who you really are, what your calling is, what your mission is. You come from Sinai. God gave you the Torah and can only accept it on a small little hell because you have to make yourself small. And it means hatred also. Because if not for that hatred, as I said before, you look like everybody else, could be absorbed, you could become invisible, and very quickly could change your name from Kalman to Chris. Very easily. And our people have done that. Make a study of history and you will see before the Hitlers come along, the Jewish people forget who they are. And then comes those evil moments, those ominous dark moments. There's another Hitler on the map. Today there's an Ahmadinejad with his ominous plans. And he says, you're a Jew. You're an Israeli. I will nuke you. I will annihilate you. I'll make a gas chamber for you. The final solution. In every generation, there's another one who comes up with a final solution. But study history. I don't have time to go through it. And you will see that before those guys come along, those evil, insane crazies, those madmen, the Jew forgot who he is. Not all Jews. Not all Jews, God forbid. But we are a nation that's responsible one for another. Do you understand this? If somebody goes to you and says, listen, I'm starting a new business. It's a sure thing. It's look at the papers. It's a sure thing. Could you help me or just give me a loan? Would you sign my papers here? So the bank should give me a loan. Listen, I don't have any money. So you know what? You just sign your papers. Could put your house. I mean, you have a nice house. Put it there, just to guarantee. But it's nothing. It's just your signature. You sign. Your house. The guy fails. He goes bankrupt. The bank knocks on your door. Your house. But I had nothing to do with the business. Your signature. It's right here. At Mount Sinai we said, Na'aseh, we shall do it. Not A'aseh, I shall do it. We. I guaranteed you and you guaranteed me. Do you understand this? So when you say it's none of your business what I do, it's my life. No, you are wrong. It's not your life. What do you do to make it your life? Did you create your pinky? What did you do? Did you create your eyes? Did you create your neshama? Did you create your legs? What did you create? You tell me, or you could say to me, it's your life. Did you will yourself to be born? Did you decide in which family you should be born? It's not your life. It's God who gave you that life. It belongs to Him. He'll take it away from you whenever He so desires. Whenever He so desires. And make you come back if He so wants. So you should fulfill that which you messed up. Which you messed up on the first trip. You have to go back. You have to make it good. You messed up. And if you have to go back more than once, you have to. Even if you protest, I don't want to go back. Do you understand this? So at Sinai, we also had sinner hatred because otherwise we would have been lost. And now we are getting ready for the giving of the Torah. So Hashem, it says, picks up the Mount Sinai, picks up Mount Sinai, and now we are getting ready for the great, magnificent wedding. We have a wedding coming. Who is taking us to the wedding? Who is the bride? Who is the groom? We, the Jewish people, are the bride. And the Almighty God is the groom. And the chuppah is Mount Sinai. God picked it up. And who's taking us under the chuppah? Who is accompanying us? Moshe Rabbeinu is taking the bride under the chuppah. And why is God picking up that Mount Sinai, the chuppah? Why? It says in the Midrash that God said, either you are going to accept my Torah, or this chuppah, this mountain, will come crashing down your head. Wait a second. Wasn't it a free will decision that we said, Na'aseh, we shall do it? On our own, we said we shall do it. Did anyone ask for the paperwork? Let me look it over. God says, do you accept my Torah? And we said, Na'aseh, we shall do it. We didn't say we shall study it. We shall do it. Later on, we said, V'nishma, we shall study it. But first, we shall do it. Who are you to ask God what is in the document? A lawyer gives you some papers. Yes, you have to study it. You have to see that every T is crossed and every I is dotted, correct? And even then, you better get another lawyer, because lawyers are lawyers. You understand? So you have to be very careful. You have to be very careful that you don't sign the wrong papers. As much as you think you are careful, you are not. Because there is always something that escapes you. Do you understand this? But when God gives you that document, who would have the chutzpah to say, give me the paperwork? Let me look it over. Let me take it to my attorney. Who would say that? No one. We accepted it as God presented it. No one questioned. So why is God picking up this chuppah, Mount Sinai, and saying, either you accept it, or it will come crashing down your head? Why? Because God tells us, no, my children, I chose you. Not because I had no one else to choose. Not because the world does not belong to me, I could choose anyone. But you chose me first, so I know that you have it in you. You are capable. You know how to climb the mountain. You know how to believe. But I'm telling you right now, if you ever abandon your mission, the mountain will come crashing down your heads, because the world will collapse. Laws of justice and decency will collapse. Are you seeing it today? Do we live in a corrupt, decadent world or not? Do you know who is responsible? The anti-Semites are correct. The Jews. We forgot who we are. The mountain is coming, crashing down upon our heads. And the tragedy is that we don't even know it. We have traversed so far from Sinai that the average Jew has no way of connecting the dots. He doesn't know how to listen to the messages. He goes, walks alone like a zombie. And the only thing he knows how to do is text and look at his BlackBerry. We stop thinking. There's no desert that you go to. People don't even take a walk today to think. There were times, years ago, people would take a walk to have some clarity. Who does that? If you're walking, you have the iPod with you, you have this with you and that with you. Even when they cross the street. You ever see that? Even when they go to synagogue. Do you understand this sick generation? I go to speak places. I always tell the rabbi, as he is ready to introduce me, could I ask you a favor? Whoever will introduce me, whether it's you, Rabbi, or it's one of your chairpersons, please tell everyone to turn off their cell phones. No problem, Rebbetzin. I said, excuse me, if you don't mind, will you tell it 3 times? Because the first time you will announce it, they don't get it. Second time, they may think that you mean somebody else. The third time, maybe they'll get it. Maybe, I say. I'm always correct. They don't get it. There's always someone who doesn't get it. Do you understand this sickness? So now we come to Mount Sinai. It says, Esuachem akamfe neshavim. I will bring you forth, God says, on wings of eagles. On wings of eagles. Why eagles? Eagles are a different bird from all other birds. Eagles fly the highest. They cannot be afraid. They are not afraid of any other birds attacking them. But they could be afraid of the bow and arrows. So what does the eagle do? The eagle places its young on its shoulder rather than by its belly. Other birds carry their little ones under their belly so that the little ones get hurt first. The eagle says that he wants to get hurt first. The eagle sheds its feathers and grows new feathers. So God is giving us a message. God is protecting us, and when the bow and arrows come, He will be there to take it for us. The Jewish people will never, never, never be annihilated. Never. And you saw it with your own eyes. In every generation you have had Hitlers, and we are here. And all of you, look at me, child from Bergen-Belsen. Do you understand what you see before your very eyes? Do you understand this? My courtyard was the gas chamber. Hitler is gone, and I'm here. Before the ark that contains the Sefer Torah that was buried during the Holocaust belonged to my great-grandfather. Do you understand this? So the eagle protects us, and the eagle is able to grow new feathers. God enables us to come back to Him, to grow new feathers. You could become a new person through the Torah. You recreate yourself. You reinvent yourself. New feathers. And now we come to Mount Sinai. I just do a little bit because we don't have time. We are now receiving the Torah. Chapter 20. Okay? I'm on page 406. Vaydaber Elokim es kol hadvorim ho'ela lemor. God spoke all these words saying. Daber means harsh talk. It's not 10 suggestions. It's not 10 recommendations. It's 10 commandments. Do you understand this? Not suggestions that you could weigh, that you could reject. 10 commandments. Commandments. Hashem Elokecho, Ani Hashem Onachi Hashem Elokecho. I'm the Lord your God. I am the Lord your God who brought you forth from the land of Egypt. First commandment. Is that a commandment? That's the concept. I'm the Lord your God who brought you forth from the land of Egypt. It's a concept, no? It's not a commandment. Are you to do something? Does that require action? It's not like you shall not steal, shall not kill. What is the action? And if you want to be more impressive, shouldn't you say, I'm the Lord your God who created the heavens and the earth? Isn't that more impressive than who brought you out from the land of Egypt? In all honesty, isn't it true? I mean, I created the universe. I brought you out from the land of Egypt. Well, it's nice, but it doesn't compare. Right? But you know what it is? Now listen to this carefully. Bar mitzvah boy gets up to speak. I want to thank my parents for everything they did for me. You know what that means? GMG, Gornish mit Gornish, nothing. The kid doesn't know what he's talking about. He's just saying that he's mouthing words because he's told to say that. Doesn't begin to understand what Hakorat Tav, appreciation is. Doesn't even begin to understand what his parents did for him. It's a pat little saying, you know, that's what every Rebbetzin boy starts. I want to thank my mother and my father for everything they did for me. Do me a favor. Do me a favor. That's not a thank you. I want to thank my mommy and my daddy. Mom, I will never forget how you stayed up with me the entire night when I was sick. How you never left my side. And you kissed me and hugged me the entire night. You told me stories. You never tired. You never went to sleep. You were at my bedside the whole night. Daddy, I'll never forget when I had problems in school and you went up to the school to help me. And the homework, you gave up your business and you did homework with me. You didn't go to the office once because I had a major test and I wasn't prepared, and you said to me, you'll stay home. And Daddy, remember when you took me on that trip, just you and I? And Daddy, remember when you taught me how to ride my bicycle? And I couldn't do it, I kept falling. And you said, come on, we'll do it, it's nothing. And you never gave up on me. And you go through your entire life experience. That's saying thank you. It's not I want to thank my mommy and the daddy for everything they did for me. That doesn't mean anything. Empty words. Vacuous words. Vapid words. But Daddy, Mommy, Grandma, you loved me always unconditionally. Those kisses and those hugs you gave me. And when I came to see you, always baked the best things for me. You always knew what I like. And Grandma, all the stories you always told me. I would always come to you. I knew you would always understand me. Even when nobody else understood me, Grandma. You always understood me. And you always loved me unconditionally. Even if I did stupid things. Grandma, how do I ever thank you? And now that I'm off to college and I can't visit you as often as I can, I miss you so much. I miss you so much, Grandma. Is that different? Says, Almighty God says, I am the Lord your God who brought you forth from the land of Egypt. Everyone has an Egypt in his heart when they feel they can't go on. It hurts me so much. God, when will you take me out of Egypt? Don't worry, I took you out. And I will take you out again. Hang in there. I'm here. I will take you out. Just give me your hand. I will take you out. You're not alone. I don't care how deep and how very, very severe, how agonizing the pain is in Egypt. I just take you out. It's going to be fine. You come to Sinai. It's going to be fine. So God says, I am the Lord, your God, in the singular. You see, in Hebrew you have singular and plural. I am the Lord, your God, in the singular. I am your personal God. Don't you ever consider, don't you ever think that I am too busy for you. There are billions and trillions of people in the world, and I don't see you, I don't hear you, I don't see your tears. I am your personal God. I have time for you. I listen to you. I see you. You are my little one whom I love. I see you. I'm your personal God. Do you understand this? So each commandment is so awesome. So awesome. And I would wish I could go through with you every commandment, because it's beyond. We have 613 commandments in the Torah. All of them are in the 10 commandments, if you know how to study the 10 commandments. And 613 is how much? 6 and 1 is 7 and 3 is 10. Correct? So let me just point out to you, look behind me. You have the 10 commandments behind me. 2 tablets, why 2? 5 and 5. You have 2 hands, 5 and 5. 2 feet, 5 toes, to remind you that he is the one, 5, who created you, 5 books of Moses. You have a great painting. The artist always has to initial it. God created the world with 10 proclamations, 10 commandments. He destroyed each of it 10 plagues. You should never forget. We should never forget. So if you ever have a question, just look at your hands. 2 hands. 2 feet. 2 tablets. 5 and 5. The signature of God is on you. Do you understand this? And the placement of the commandments are also significant. On one tablet, we have all the laws between man, and the other tablet, all the laws between man and God. Each equally important. The laws between man and God commence with a concept, like I told you, I'm the Lord your God, which I asked you before, is that a commandment? Yes, because you have to live your life in such a way that you should represent God wherever you go. People should say, oh, that's a person of God. So when you stand online for something, or you are trying to get a parking place, be careful, be careful. Don't use interpretives. Be careful with the language. Don't push. You represent God. I am the Lord your God. Walk on the street like people would understand that you are child of the Lord your God. If your father is a very famous man, and you go someplace and you do crazy things, then you put shame upon your father. Isn't that true? You know whose daughter she is? You know whose son he is? Isn't that true? The son of the president became drunk. How does that sound? It happens, but how does it sound? Everybody follows me? So it starts with, I am the Lord your God, and ends with action. What's the last commandment? You shall honor your father and your mother. That's action. It's not a concept. Your mother walks in, your father walks in, you honor them. You don't take their seats, you're not allowed to sit in their seats, you don't open your mouth to them. Even if they're outrageously wrong, you zip your mouth and you do not answer back. And if you, God forbid, you ever did something to your mother and to your father, you better go and ask forgiveness. And if they are no longer here, you go to the gravesite. God forbid that someone should ever curse a mother and a father, which is so common today. Young people say to their parents, F you, nephew, I'm getting out of this crazy house. True or not? Shut up, get off my back. And God forbid, some children could even pick up a hand, raise a hand. God forbid. So it starts with a belief, ends in action. The second tablet deals with commandments pertaining to man and man. It starts with action. You shall not kill. It ends with an emotion. You shall not covet. You shall not be jealous. How does this work? How does this work? Listen again carefully. You are a miser. Would love to give charity. You just can't. You are mean-spirited. You would like to be kind, but you just can't. So what are you going to do? You live in the 21st century, so people say that you have to change. Okay, I'll have to find out, why am I such a miser? Why am I so mean-spirited? I mean, what was in my childhood that made me so bitter, so angry, so sarcastic? I have to go to a therapist to find out. Now you are 70 years old, you're still finding it out. Okay? You're 70. You understand this? 70. You're still trying to discover why you are such a miserable person. You should be able to overcome it. What the Torah says? Action. You are not happy with what you are. Start being kind. Start being kind. Oh, but I don't feel it. Good. Be a hypocrite. You are permitted to be hypocrite and be kind. I don't feel like smiling. Good. Pretend and smile. It's okay. Be hypocrite. You're angry. Fine. Pretend that you are happy. Pretend. Be a hypocrite. And then if you could do that long enough, guess what? It becomes habit forming. And one day you discover, hey, I became kind. I became generous. Do you understand this? And I'm not jealous. Then you won't be jealous. If you're going to be kind, you won't be jealous. You're happy for others. Don't waste your money and your time by the therapist to find out more you're a miserable person. Because you'll just become more miserable. You will have sympathy for your misery. You know why? You know why you are miserable? Because when you were 5 years old, your father was fighting with your mother. And when you're 7, they have a divorce. And when you were 8, your father came back and was so abusive. And your mother, she became an alcoholic. So what do you expect? So you spend your lifetime on the couch. No. Hashem says, spend your lifetime changing. Force your hand into your pocket and become generous. Put a smile on your face even if you don't feel like smiling. And I will conclude with a teaching from my holy husband, Rabbi Meshulam Halevi Young Rebbetzin. When there is no reason to smile, put a smile on your face and God will give you every reason to smile. Think about it. When there is no reason to smile, put a smile on your face and God will give you every reason to smile. And then my Holy Father would say in Yiddish, give a schmeichel, give a smile. Es kostet nicht kein Geld, it doesn't cost you any money. But could change people's lives. Your smile could change people's lives. And you will be changed. You will be changed. So children, Jewish children who stood at Sinai, you have all the reasons in the world to smile. You know why? Because you stood at Sinai. Not yesterday, today. Never forget who you are. You come from Sinai. It's on your passport. That will take you into the Messianic period. I love you all. Have a good Shabbos. And we have delicious refreshments that Larry provided. Zecher Nishmas in memory of his mom. And we have beautiful challah gifts for everyone from Michelle Fadl. In honor of her mother, Hayagolda Fegel Bas Yitzchak. Hayagolda Fegel Bas Yitzchak. Okay? And those who want to see me, those who have appointments, please see Fadl, Michelle. Thank you. I'm sorry?
How's your sister doing?
My sister.
You told me last week she wasn't feeling well.
No.
Yeah, she's
She
okay.
came home.